Before we exhume today's episode of Spoop Squad, be aware that this podcast will include discussions of violence and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised, and content may not be suitable for young boils and ghouls. Of course, we aim to slay, and some topics are too spoopy for little goblins. Grab your coffin and dig yourself into your favorite plot hole.
Welcome to Spoop Squad, the podcast that watches horror films that go flop in the night. I'm Jared.
And I'm Nathan.
Nathan, tonight we watched Infinity Pool.
We did.
We watched this movie on Hulu, where it is streaming. And on IMDb, it is rated a 6.1 out of 10. So it's like the highest end of where we can actually go. Yeah. So obviously on our show, we do a 6.0 or below score. And this happened to be right on 6.0.
Yep, it was spot on. We really wanted to kick off the new version of the show.
We did.
With a treat for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that we did.
And this has been on my list to watch for a while.
Oh, same.
Okay, good. So I'm glad we actually got to watch it together.
Me too.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the synopsis.
All right, here's the synopsis. James and M. Foster are enjoying an all-inclusive beach vacation in the fictional island of Tolqa when a fatal accident exposes the resort's perverse subculture of hedonistic tourism, reckless violence, and surreal horrors.
Okay. I mean, on the surface, it sounds great.
Yeah, that's pretty right on.
Yeah. One good thing.
You're starting with me?
Yeah, what's your one good thing?
I'll say the one good thing is that when they're going for surrealism, they really go all out. Like a real Suspiria surrealism. I really got that vibe from it, especially with some of the gore. Was very much in that vein.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so what's your one?
I like that.
Your one good thing.
My one good thing is definitely the cinematography. This is a very good budgeted film, with legit actors. It's got Alexander Skarsgård. It's got Mia Goth.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those movies that are very well put together. And this was a legit film that cinematography was great.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely there. I agree with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely my favorite part of the whole movie is the cinematography.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I kind of figured you would.
Yeah, especially whenever it comes down to like the very psychedelic moments.
You really liked all of the Dutch angles at the beginning.
I do. I love Dutch angles.
Which is
they're so much fun.
It sounds like a sex position.
But it's not.
But it's not. It could also be, though.
It could also be. Have you checked Urban Dictionary?
No, but I'm going to.
I bet it's on there. Everything's on Urban Dictionary. All right. Kill breakdown.
All right. So
how many do you have? I kept track as well, and I'm curious to see if we match
lined up. Okay.
Yeah.
I got 12.
You got 12.
Yeah.
I got 14.
Ooh. I'm wondering if I'm missing somebody. I might have missed somebody during like the mega, like the group kill. There were 6 people killed, or was there 8?
So whenever you say group kill, because we got multiple.
No, there was.
It was kind of hard to track. Obviously, we got two different answers on this. I got 14, you got 12. I'm counting the dog at the end.
Yeah.
You got that one? Okay.
I got that one.
What about the 3 people whenever they broke into the house?
Okay, I only got 2 on that.
Okay, so
because that all happened really fast.
Yeah, so it was the woman, the dude that was shooting at them.
Oh, and then the guy whose house it was. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so there's 3.
3 there. I think there were 6 in the second.
Like the second clone kill.
Yeah.
Clomageddon.
Yeah, because there was 6 total.
Yeah,
of
because that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're at 10 kills right now.
And then the first one for him.
And then there's the guy that got run over.
There's the guy that got ran over.
That's 12.
And then what else? Because there had to be. I wouldn't have counted just because. I don't know. I mean, we're coming up with 12 on the spot, but I feel like there might at least be one more that we're missing right now.
I literally can't think of it because there was only the 2 times that we saw the clones get killed.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Not so important.
Not so important.
What is important though is which one is your favorite kill? Because I definitely have one.
Oh, that's tough. I've got to go with the group kill. Like when they first get Alexander and they do the throat slit on him.
Yeah.
And then all of that blood came out.
Yeah. See, that's my favorite as well. Like his second death.
Yeah.
Is definitely my favorite because it kind of gets you off guard.
Yeah.
Because the whole scene is where they're being escorted out of the interrogation room or whatever it was at the police station.
We're led to believe that those are the real people, not the clones.
Yes, not the clones. Because we never get the secondary, we're going to make clones out of you. Yeah. So we think that they're being escorted out, and the way that the chief of police, the cop, whoever the guy is, how he makes it seem, which is weird in its own way, where he's like escorting them out and telling them like, we're going to make an example out of you. We're not going to deal with your stupid bullshit because this is your vacation.
We're not going to let you keep doing this over and over.
Yeah. And then, surprise, they do.
Yeah.
This is just what they do. But it's just very weird. Like, to whose benefit is that? Like, why? I guess to get such a reaction out of him, maybe. Maybe that's what the purpose was.
Maybe. I mean,
because the 6 of them extremely enjoyed watching their doubles die.
Yeah, they cheered and clapped.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was like a play, like a theatrical play.
But I mean, he says early on, like in the first time that the first clone kill, he's explaining it and he's like, the government pays for this so that you're not actually executed.
Yeah, it's like a tourism, but yet he paid to get his double made.
Yeah, that's right.
He went to the ATM to pull out all this fucking money.
That's right. But he did. Am I wrong that he said
that
the government pays for it?
I feel like that's what he said.
Maybe there's a donation and then the government pays for it. I don't know.
Or maybe it was just that the government set it up for tourism and they allow them to do this, but you have to pay for it. Maybe that's what the...
Yeah, he did say that it was because of they were tourists and like diplomats. Yeah. It's a thing that's offered to them.
Yeah,
but like it was just I gotta be honest. There was a lot of dialogue in places in this movie that I just not pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
There was a lot of dialogue in this movie that like a lot of it was pretty bad.
Some of it was bad. Some of it was okay.
There was at least 3 times that you or I said the line directly before a character said the line.
It's rainy season.
We found you.
Yeah.
And you had one more.
I can't remember what it was.
Roll the tape back. Can we?
Yeah, let's rewatch it.
Yeah. James, can we roll the tape back? Just kidding. There is no James.
There's no James.
Just James Foster.
James William Foster.
James William Foster.
So I guess we can talk about like the whole rainy season, like the whole lead up to the end of the movie where they're talking about like there's this celebration on this island or in this vacation resort.
Everybody's got their 2 dots.
Everybody's got their 2 dots. Don't really know what it means.
They didn't explain any of that culture thing.
He kind of did at the beginning,
but nobody was paying attention. Not even the actors.
No.
But that whole thing is literally just to like set up them wearing the masks.
Yes.
That whole thing is just a way to introduce the masks as a plot device. I got to be honest though, I like the masks. The masks were very fun. Yeah, they're very fun. They were cool looking.
Reminds me of The Purge.
Kind of Purge-ish, kind of Strangers-y.
Yeah.
Like it's got that vibe, but it's also like they needed an excuse. It's like somebody made a couple of masks and Cronenberg was like, let's throw them down, dude. I'm going to figure out a way to put more in. Everybody gets a mask. He became Mask Oprah. You get a mask. You get a mask. You get a mask.
Yeah.
So
I do like the way that they kind of merged the masks into like the orgy scene and like it was very weird, like very psychedelic, very weird, and it like kind of morphed into you called it a Tool video.
It looked like a Tool video. It did.
It did 100%.
Like
as soon as you said it, I was on board. I was like, yes.
There was 3 different moments when it was like, this is a fucking Tool video. Every surrealist thing was just straight up a Tool video.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
like, especially the orgy scene.
But I mean, even the scene when the first time when he gets made into a clone and they put him in the goop.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like crouched there was very Tool video. Got
the thing in his mouth.
Yeah. like he's playing, like he's on Ellen's Game of Games.
Yeah.
Is that show even on the air?
No.
I didn't know.
No, it's not.
Everybody got off the Ellen train.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Can we talk about the jack-off scene?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
because this became a through line for us watching it through the whole movie. Because he like Skarsgård is standing there and he's taking a pee and they're all drunk on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Like him and his wife and then Mia Goth and the French guy.
Alvin.
I think it's Albin.
Albin?
Yeah.
That's not a chipmunk.
I know, but that was my best joke in the whole time we were watching it.
It could be Albin, I guess.
Yeah, let me introduce you to Albin and his chipmunks. But yeah, so there they are, like, or there he is taking a piss, like kind of away from the beach where they've been relaxing and eating fucking sausage all day.
Yeah.
Like just such and then Albin literally talks about like fattening him up so he can eat him, and it's like there's so many moments in this movie where you go, is that the what's it called, the so-and-so's gun? I can't.
Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun. Thank you.
Yeah. Because
my brain said MacGuffin and I could not for the life of me come back from that.
Is that MacGuffin?
Is that the MacGuffin's gun?
Yeah, MacGuffin's gun.
So, but it was like they at the beginning, the whole time, they just keep setting up things to be the like the Chekhov's gun, and then they just never come back to them.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so like, but there they are. He's taking a piss. She walks up behind him and just starts aggressively jerking him off.
Yeah. And gotta be honest, he comes super fast.
But it was like, it looked like she was trying to rip his dick off.
She might have been.
And then his face stays the same. Like his cum face.
For like half an hour of the movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing too, is that we don't just watch the piss. They cut so that we watch the semen hit the ground.
Yeah.
So that could add to the kill count.
Oh yeah. Billions.
Billions.
This is the highest amount of kills we've ever seen in a movie.
The highest we've ever had. We just watched them like starve there on the ground, and but it's just
think about the kids.
This is such an absurd moment, and the way he comes, he's just strained and hunched over, and then he stays that way for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, easily.
Like I said it when we were watching it, but if they like the surrealist parts were very long. And
yeah, they could have cut them down.
They could have like if they just trimmed each of them by like 2 to 3 minutes, this movie could have been closer to an hour and a half.
Yeah, there's some trimming that could have at least got it down to an hour 45.
Yeah,
shave off 15 minutes.
You know who got shaved off?
Who? Tell me.
The politician guy who had the tiny penis.
Oh my God.
That I didn't notice at first until you pointed it out, and then it was all I could see. And there was like 15 minutes of this dude with his
tiny dick out.
Like that guy's a real one.
Yeah.
I still think that's got to be some sort of prosthetic because he had that big fupa.
He did.
And yeah. He had that big fupa, and I think that was like masking his penis. Because, like, I don't know. If I was an actor and they were like, hey, you can be in this Alexander Skarsgård movie, but, like, you got to, like, have your dick out. And if I had a tiny penis, I'd be like, no thanks.
What if he's intentionally went in there and, like, just bombed the audition for the role? And they were like, no, we want you. And he's like, fuck.
We want you. Oh,
I don't want my dick out.
Damn it. Well, Mom said if I wanted to be famous, this is how to do it. I mean, it was straight up micro penis.
Yeah.
Like there's, I swear that there's.
And
that
look,
has to
I mean,
be
not the body shame. This is not us body shaming. It's just like it was
jarring.
It was surprising.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
We were not expecting that, and it was so shocking that it was like, this is all I can look at.
Yeah.
Like there's a naked woman next to him, and and then there's like a bunch of stuff going on in the scene.
100%.
And there's all these like
so much stuff trying to draw your attention away, and it's like, no, I'm locked in.
No, because everything's kind of moving around him except for that area of his body. No movement.
It's like they locked the camera down in that position for a purpose.
Yeah, and it was just like, man. This is real uncomfortable. I fell for that guy. He was not a part of the weird orgy.
He was not, no. So you talk about the pee and the semen. We got a lot of bodily fluids here. We got the semen, we got pee, we got vomit, and blood, sweat, and tears.
We did get blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. No diarrhea.
No diarrhea, which is very disappointing.
I really thought it was going to happen with the dog at the end.
I really thought he was going to
just straight up take a shit all over himself.
Yeah.
Which would have been fantastic.
Let's talk about the dog scene.
Okay.
Like, we definitely have a movie later on down the list where it's a guy who's dressed as a dog, which is going to be amazing. I am so into it. But Mia Goth's character was talking about bring out the dog, and I was like, oh, motherfucker, if it's him.
Well, because we did watch the trailer, and in the trailer, they have Skarsgård with the dog collar on crawling out, and I was like, oh, I remembered this.
Oh, this is Channing Tatum.
They just brought out an entirely different person. I really once clones came into play, I was really hoping for a multiplicity situation.
Yeah.
Where you got like just one's really angry, one's really smart, one is super dumb. Like that would have been This could have turned into like a horror comedy really easily.
Real quick.
And like I was like when they had to, because there's that scene where they have him beat himself up. And like the hood's on him, and they have him beat him up, and they pull the hood off, and are like, "Haha, it was
you this entire time."
It was you the whole time. And
it was supposed to be the cop, and they were supposed to kidnap the cop, And
they set him up, and they're like, haha, it's a prank because we are rich assholes.
We like to vacation hard.
All of our accents are changing constantly, which they were. It was, I mean, from the beginning, everyone's accent shifted multiple times.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
felt like it. I do like how you were like, oh yeah, this is Mia Goth doing a terrible British accent. And I'm like, isn't she British?
No idea. I had no idea, guys. I seriously had no idea that she grew up in Britain.
She grew up in London.
She was born in London, grew up there. She has a Brazilian mother and a Canadian father, and that's why I think that her accent is so weird.
Maybe. Who knows?
I'm surprised she didn't say sorry, which would have been hilarious. But yeah, so like, you know, it was after the beating up the cop, but that was really him. And then they go and everybody starts serenading from outside. I swear to God, I was really hoping that it would be like 10 clones.
Oh, yeah.
Like 10 clones of him would have been brilliant.
They did have masks on.
They did have masks. It could have been that.
Could have been.
You know what? Maybe. But it's also wild to me that like they were just able to pay that guy, like that like government official, to make another clone. I mean, it makes sense, but they were just like, we'll just throw some money at you so you can make another clone, and we're gonna have this guy like beat it up and like
yeah.
And then
hey, we got a really good prank.
yeah. This is terrible. It's like a prank. It'd be like if Jake and Logan Paul got their hands on the ability to clone people. This is the shit they would do. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
What's wrong, bro?
That's why I'm so mad about it. It's
wrong,
so
bro?
fucking accurate.
It's just a prank. Just a prank, bro. Why are you so mad? Why are you so upset? Hey, why don't you you want you and your clone to fuck me?
Which, let's bring up that.
Oh, you mean what I've written down as the double clone bone?
The double clone bone, yeah. She straight up asks, have you ever been in a three-way with a clone of yourself? And it's like, no, I never knew this was even a thing until like yesterday.
We didn't know that the cloning technology was this good.
Yeah.
At this point. Oh man, just wowee. Wowee.
And then we get the drug scenes, which, let's talk about the drug itself. It was very kind of...
It was a root.
Weird. It was a root that you lit on fire, and then you
put some sort of powder on it.
Yeah.
Like she scoops some sort of powder onto it, and you light it on fire in a bowl, and then you just smell it.
Yeah, you just smell it. You just inhale. So let me ask you this. Is it the root, or is it the powder that they put on the root, or is it a combination of the two? I don't get it.
I think it's like when you're a kid and there's those smelly markers. That's what it is. You just...
So it's just like incense?
I really like licorice. It's because it looks kind of like licorice root. And
I like the cherry one.
Oh yeah, let's fuck. I need to fuck now. Bring everyone in. How fucking funny was it in the orgy, like the sex orgy scene, when Mia Goth is like writing Alexander Skarsgård, and then suddenly there's just the French guy grabbing his foot, and
like
he is
aggressively grabbing his legs,
and he's aggressively like jerking it at the same time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, surprise! Here's everyone.
Yeah, here's everyone in a big orgy.
We've all been here
the whole time.
We've all been hiding behind these curtains. Little did you know, we've been all naked under the bed wearing our masks.
It's very ambiguous. Like, we're not quite sure if it was just him and Mia Goth's character, or if it was everybody, because it's like in that psychedelic orgy moment. We're not sure if it happened.
We don't know if any of it happened.
Yeah. But interesting scene, to say the least. Again, it's a Tool video.
It's a Tool video.
And we definitely get something that was very weird, very gross, and that's the nipple cum.
It was like a nipple
It
cum,
was,
and then
or
it became like a worm.
And yeah, it was.
It became like a worm that came out of the nipple.
Like the nipple like started to bulge.
Yeah.
Like and throb. And it was very weird.
But that's what makes it a fucking Tool video.
Yeah.
Like up until that point, you're like, maybe. But it was when that happened was when you went, yeah, I totally see this as a Tool video.
I get it.
Yeah, it's just a long piece of yarn. Very Toolish.
Like, I mean, interesting cinematically.
Yeah.
But very weird. Very out of the blue.
It just took a really long time to get there.
Yeah.
Like I was trying really hard to be engaged, and it was hard.
Yeah, I get that. Long scenes that felt like it was for art's sake, right? Something that could have been cut down to be shorter.
But the thing is that by that point, when you start getting into the drugs and stuff, everything that's in between the surrealist scenes is just kind of it's just kind of dialogue and like people being shitty to each other or progressively acting crazier, but like not even in. I don't know. It's so I don't know. To me, it was such a weird, like. It's like they just kind of gave up on the writing and they were like, make up your own lines. What do you want to do now?
I feel like we get that in a lot of movies we watch.
We do, but this is like a way too high budget Brandon Cronenberg.
Yeah.
And I mean you have all of this talent in this and it just feels like they were just like, no, improvise this.
Just kind of disjointed.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah, and I get that, like, you know, that's art and it's supposed to like be disjointed and make you feel something, but it was just I didn't even feel that. I was just like, okay, this part is kind of funny to me. Like
the whole time, it was almost immediately whenever they introduced the clone, it was like, okay, are they going to, at some point, be like, oh no, the real one died and the clone is the one that's just kind of walking around now because they are supposed to have their own thoughts and the memories of the same person. Like everything is supposed to transfer
they
over.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Although they give you hints later because the French guy gets shot and it grazes his leg and then he's got a cane and a limp the rest of the time. So if they cloned him, that wouldn't be there. And then he would just exist in his unharmed body.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of the thing where I was like, okay, so they are the originals, or at least he's an original.
Yeah. Albin is the original.
But you never really know. But it's so funny because like when that happened, we started talking about it, and then in the very next scene, they hand it to you.
Yeah. One of the rich people who has been doing this for vacations for years apparently says, Do you think that you're really the guy, or do you think you're a clone?
Yeah, do you think you're the original, or do you think you might be the clone? And everybody's like, shut up. And he's like, no, but it's a valid question. Because
it is a fucking valid question.
It is a valid question because you don't know, because you're in a bed and you wake up and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre. But it's just, there are moments in this movie where they just hand you the plot that feels like they don't trust you to get it.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments.
And I got to be honest, I don't get it. Because who does this really benefit?
By them telling us?
No, by them
doing the
even
clones?
doing the clone and killing the clone.
They're fulfilling the law, but really what they're doing is the government's making money off of this.
I guess.
To make the clones, because they got the goo, Jared. They got the goo.
Who made the goo?
It's the gabagoo.
The gabagoo is very good. I do like that.
Thank you.
It seems like there's a lot of overhead that is pointless.
Yeah, but they can just recycle the goo. I mean, don't you think that if they can make a clone out of it, they can't just bubble it down to be back in part of the goo?
But then why wouldn't they just make clones to sell organs on the black market or some bullshit like that?
Who says they don't?
I mean, it's not brought up in the movie, but I guess It's possible.
It could be inferred that they do all kinds of crazy shit with this.
Yeah, maybe. I wish they would have introduced it. I wish they would have told us.
That would have been way more interesting.
Yeah.
But instead we're just left with these scenes it's only the one scene where he's just covered in Nickelodeon's gack.
Not even that, because it's like red and blue.
Yeah, they don't. It's
just
like
a different color.
He's standing in red, and then they introduce the blue, and then that's just kind of it.
Yeah.
Then it's just kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm. But see, and that's why I think that he's not the original, because
I don't know if it matters.
I mean, it does and it doesn't, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. But it just seems like if he goes into the goo and gets covered in the goo, and then we see him wake up in the bed to go see his clone in the goo, because whenever he first sees the clone...
But it would also be formed out of the goo, right?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a mold situation going on.
It was weird that they said it took a few tries to get it right, but this one's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, how many times are they trying it?
I don't know.
You don't think it's not an exact science?
No, not at this point.
Because if they're like bringing back...
maybe it's like a test tube thing, and it's like, oh no, this one's nose was pressed up against the glass.
Yeah. It's just, I keep thinking about it where it's like they're, if this isn't the first, if he's not the original and he's the clone, and they put the original in, maybe they like this, the clone that came out is the first one that's kind of normal, but then it would also explain the regression of their brains if they were all the clones. But then at the very end of the movie, they're just normal fucking people again.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, I like to mess with my husband by rearranging the furniture when he leaves town.
Please don't do that again.
And this is the same person that was like, you want to fuck me with your clone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay on the hood of a car and shoot a gun at you and scream and tell you what a plaything you are for us.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
It's like, oh, we got our crazy out. Now we're just normal people, which again is very much a purge thing.
It is very much a purge.
So it's like the mask, and then being able to just be crazy because there's no consequences. If the consequence is death, and then they can make a clone to be death, then there are no consequences.
Yeah.
Right?
There really aren't any consequences at all.
Yeah, it's like Christianity.
You can just ask for forgiveness.
If Jesus died on the cross for all of our sins, he can't just die for like some of the sins. He has to die for all of the sins, right? He has to die for all of them, all the ones that you've ever committed or anything like that, right? So if Jesus died for all of the sins, then you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because the sins have been forgiven. It doesn't matter if you accept them or not.
Yeah. Preach.
You can pick. You can
that's
find.
For you.
You can find my new book. I've just like that's that, but that's like the idea and the principle, right? Is that because their transgression has been forgiven, and then this entity is killed in their behalf. This clone has been killed on their behalf. Then they don't have. Man, I'm going way too deep on this.
Yeah, you are.
But it's just the whole idea of that there is no accountability for what they've actually done.
Yeah, no, there is not.
And they haven't learned anything. So as you asked earlier, who benefits from this? The government benefits because they're making the money on it.
But I mean, how much money can they be making off of this, though? That's the real question.
That's the wild thing, is that they're using a fucking ATM in the prison to pull the money out, and it's like, no, the ATM is in your prison. That's
service
your
charges.
Money.
It's the service charges.
There you go. That's what they're making the money is from the service charges.
The $3.50 service charge.
Yeah, it's a $3.50 off of each one. But in that island country, maybe that's a lot of money for them.
Maybe
that could be double whatever the amount is that they're pulling out.
Could be.
Oh man,
I do like the fact that going back to the whole group death, I love that they were just enjoying watching their doubles die. And the doubles,
honestly, that's probably the best part of the movie.
It really is, I think.
Like that's the best scene in the whole movie.
It's the best death.
It's the best death. It's the only time that we were confused.
Yeah.
Like by the actual written plot and
Right.
not just by flashing colors and goo.
Yeah.
Whatever fluids are coming out of Alexander Skarsgård. Like we're actually watching like the for real, like this is a moment that actually twists a little
Yes.
bit. And not that there has to be a twist in everything, because there are straightforward
doesn't.
movies that are super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about, we saw Maxine, and
Yeah.
which is another Mia Goth, but they tell you what the movie's going to be as you're going through it. They
Yeah.
explain it to you, and it's still very fun because it's an older style of filmmaking. And now everything's got to have twists, and instead of doing like, here's this fun twist ending at the end, we just have him sitting in the rain. But he's thinking about what he's done. He's in timeout.
I guess. Yeah.
But it's that like we got to watch like a kind of a, oh, you got us for a second. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was really clever and really well done how you did that. And if we had thought about it, we would have realized this sooner. But they tricked us with like the clothing and the gowns, the hospital gowns and stuff. And we were like, okay, what's happening? But and then they were all sitting there cheering. That felt like a moment from like Midsommar.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how
It
to say
kinda
that.
did.
Midsommar.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but it felt like a moment from that.
Mm-hmm.
Where like here's this extreme violence and everybody's just pleased by it.
Right.
Like that felt fucked up, and that's the only part of the movie where I was like, this is fucked up. Because everything else was just,
Oh no, there were definitely some other parts where I was like, no, that's fucked up.
well, I mean like the
Yeah.
the aggressive
jerking off for
yeah
10 seconds.
Like,
legitimately.
and then he ages 80 years. Like how weird is that? Like he just is, like all of his veins are bulging on his face and his neck, and it stays that way. Like if that's his MO when he comes, then his wife knew something happened when he showed back up.
100%.
Like they came out of the woods and they were just like, oh, here we are. Nothing.
I came.
I just want to make a pee. So many fluids in this movie.
A lot of fluids. I think it was definitely on purpose.
Oh, speaking of fluids, I did really like the first clone death scene, where the boy comes in and stabs him.
Pretty intense, yeah.
It was pretty intense, and he just kind of keeps stabbing until he just stops moving, or like he like stops stabbing, and then somebody comes and takes the knife from him.
Yeah.
And his hand just has blood on it, and he's like, "Oh man!" But like, it's such a.
Let's be honest. Like, who does that to a fucking kid? Like, here you have to kill this guy,
but it's
because he killed your dad.
He killed your dad since you're the eldest son. So he's like a 13-year-old boy. They say his age. So he's a 13-year-old boy who straight up looks like Jack from Hook, which you pointed out.
Yeah,
he does.
He looks like fucking Jack from Hook.
And he comes like a very skinny version of him too. But he comes walking up and just stabs him once, stabs him twice,
and then he gets into it.
But it's that every stab has so much blood coming out of it, and that was the scene where I was like, this feels like Suspiria, where it's like a stab and just gushing blood. And that's all practical effects.
Yeah.
Like you can tell it's practical, and it's honestly, that was fantastic. That was really well done, even though like, I mean, you can't tell if it's a rubber torso or what, just because he's in the gown and then it's cut out around his tummy, and then the kid's just stabbing, which also like, why would they even have the gown?
I don't know.
They should have just put like a loincloth on him, or like nothing at all. Like, there was such a weird choice, because it wasn't.
Maybe they were like, we can't make it too Jesus-y.
Well, because he's tied to a post. And here's the thing: is that like it's not, it's not like they cut it specifically for him. It was hemmed around the hole. So like this is a regular thing. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. That was an interesting detail that they added on there, is that they specifically make these hospital gowns with the torso cut out so that kids can stab people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not used for its intended purpose. Maybe there's some other kind of purpose for that gown. And what I'm thinking is, how else are you going to give raspberries?
I was like, where are we going? Like, I was like, surgery? I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No, it's raspberries.
It's raspberries.
You got to blow those raspberries.
It's the raspberries.
One of the things that I found absolutely ridiculous is after the first clone death, or maybe it's not clone death, who knows, he hides his passport for some reason.
But we don't find that out till later.
We don't find that out until later.
But the reason why is because he wants to like stay behind.
Dude, he did not seem like he was enjoying anything about it.
Oh, no, not at all.
So why would he hide his passport to fucking stay there?
Because he could have left at any point.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And then finally he decides that he's going to leave, and then they stop him. Like,
yeah, he only wants to leave after he had to beat himself up.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "No."
But he wasn't enjoying himself though. He watched his clone die, and he was fucked up. Him and his wife were fucked up from that.
Yeah, but then like the second time, then he was like, "Oh, this is great." Also,
yeah, but he could have left before that. That's what I'm saying. Like
he was getting an urn collection.
We did at some point predict like how many urns he was going to.
I guessed way too high.
I guessed a baker's dozen.
Yeah, I guessed 15.
Yeah,
and
we got 3.
This would be really funny if he had 15.
Just fucking had to buy extra suitcases to bring the urns. And why are you getting the urns of your clones' dead bodies anyway?
Why are you taking them home?
Yeah.
Why? I would.
You definitely mentioned he's going to have to claim those.
He would. It's human remains.
Human remains.
You have to claim that. You don't just get to, you can't just take like ashes. Like if it doesn't even just be human remains, it could be animal remains. It's anything. Mm-hmm. You have to claim this.
Like, how do you explain that at customs?
Well,
okay, you have 3 identical urns. Who is this? Oh, this is me.
These are all me?
They're me. And
it's a long story.
This one is me. This one is me. This one is also me.
But he was a dog too.
Yeah, he was the dog.
So this is the closest to me. This one was also pretty close to me, but that one
not quite.
was a dog me that bit me like a couple of times, did not draw blood. So I don't have to get a tetanus shot or a rabies shot.
No rabies shot for me because it's me.
Yeah, it's me. I know my body. All right, I've got one last thing that I want to talk about.
What's that?
Is that Alexander Skarsgård in this movie is the worst puncher of all time.
Oh my God, he is so bad.
Because it starts with when he's punching like the weirdo, like, you know, the like hooded version of himself, and he does like a weird like punch, like he doesn't know, like it's from his elbow, not from his shoulder, right? It's like this isn't a man this isn't the same actor that was in The Northman, right? Like it's like there's no. I guess, you know what? Maybe it's actually really good acting on his part.
It could be.
To just
That's
be
exactly
like,
what I was thinking.
This hot fucking dude with all these muscles can't punch.
I mean, if we think about it, it is kind of in character because he's a writer. He's not a great writer.
He's not
He wrote one book 6 years ago
and everyone
that
hated
got
it.
Terrible reviews.
And it only got published because of his father-in-law.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be finding inspiration at this resort to write his next book. But yeah.
Terrible puncher.
It could just be good acting.
It was that hilarious like backhand that he did. And then this is what was bonkers to me. They took the hood off and he had cuts all over his face. And I was like,
Where did those cuts come from?
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
You know what? You might have counted that as a death. He wasn't dead. That was the same one that was the dog.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, because when he came out, he had the cuts on his face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think I did count that one though.
Okay.
I could have
because he didn't die.
possible.
He was
Yeah.
like alive and breathing and looking
it's possible.
around. Yeah. But yeah, it was just there was such these weenie punches. I mean, like, look, like I'm not a fighter guy. I'm not like I don't get in fights and beat up a lot of people, but like I could punch somebody.
Yeah.
You know, like I know how to do that, and it's like I don't know, like I'm not like going to get in a fight, but if I had to, I could punch someone, and it just seemed like he could not. But it's also like at the end when he's actually caving in the skull of the dog, of like the dog him,
which is weird in its own.
and he's punching. It's again punching like from the elbow in a very like mechanical way.
Yeah.
And instead of, I don't know, it was so bizarre, and I found that to be hilarious.
What I found hilarious in that part is like he beats his skull in.
Like the eyeballs popped out.
Eyes popping out, and like...
Again, it's a
broken
very Suspiria
skull.
thing. It's fantastic.
But his hand is fine. It just seems like if he's hitting him that hard... He would have broke his hand. Yeah. His hand, his wrist, something would have broke on his own body, not just the skull of the dog man.
Yeah. I like that she gave him like a shitty, dirty knife and was like, kill the dog.
Yeah, kill the dog.
And he was like, no.
and then he like, fetch.
Yeah. Like,
you get the knife.
It's like he threw with his offhand. Like, is he left-handed in real life?
I don't know. He might be.
Because he, like, maybe that's what was wrong, is that his character was right-handed and he didn't know how to punch or throw.
Maybe.
With his right hand. I wonder if he's left-handed.
We can look that up later on.
That's very much like what it looked like.
Yeah, and now that you're mentioning it, it does seem
it
that
looks
way.
like how I would like try to punch with my left hand because I'm not left-handed.
It's just awkward.
Yeah, like do a punch with your right hand. Yeah, that's it. That's terrible. Yeah, he's definitely punching with his left hand. It was really weird because he only punched with his right hand. He only threw with his right hand. So he held the gun with his right hand. But what if he's left-handed in real life?
What if he's left-handed in the movie and he punched with his right just because he can't fuck up his left hand because that's his writing hand?
Yeah, that's true. You know, now I'm thinking about it. I think when he peed, he used his left hand to hold himself.
I don't know. He might have.
We couldn't really see.
Yeah.
But that would have.
I
that
do
would have
know for a
opened
fact Mia Goth was using the right.
Man, again, such a
weird,
awkward. Like,
yeah.
We really could go on and on for 30 minutes just about that scene.
Oh, yeah. 100%. But let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
You know what we should do?
What?
Get into ratings.
All right.
Nathan, what are you going to rate this movie? Are you going to give it a skull or not give it a skull? Would you rewatch this with somebody else?
No.
You're not going to rewatch it?
I'm not going to give it a skull. Like, I've been thinking about this, and I can appreciate art and I can appreciate the attempt at art, and then there were some artful things in it, but so much of that felt forced. And there's so many other movies that are like Suspiria. Like, I keep coming back to that. This feels like it's an homage to that without hitting the mark.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's just not at all. Like, I would not watch this again. Sam, I am. What about you, Jared? So,
kind of in the same vein, but I think I am going to give this one a skull.
Because it's Kubrick-y enough.
No, not that it's... Because there's no real comparison with Kubrick at all. But
yeah.
It's... I don't know. It's interesting. It's thought-provoking, I think. And that's... I enjoyed that.
I will probably not talk about this movie again unless somebody brings it up.
Okay, that's fair, but I feel like that's a lot of movies, whether you enjoy them or not.
I don't know. I will find a way to work a movie into something.
I don't know. So, one skull out of the two. Watch it if you want.
Watch it if you want.
And that's... Oh, what are we watching next? We're watching Rubber next.
We are watching Rubber next. Not about condoms.
Not condoms. Rubber is on Amazon. It is a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I've never seen it. I've been meaning to watch it. I'm glad we're going to watch it for the first time on this show.
Together.
Yeah, together.
Together. We're holding hands for anybody who's just listened to the audio. We get to watch it together, and that's going to be really fun.
Together. It's going to be fun. A ridiculous looking movie, which is going to be great. So watch it with us. Rubber on Amazon.
Watch your rubbers. And keep it spoopy.
And I hope you spoop your pants.
You survived another spoopy episode. Follow us on social media and Patreon for all the latest updates, behind-the-scenes content, and spine-chilling fun. You can find our links buried in the show notes. Patreon members can submit their own horror movie suggestions for future episodes. We love hearing from you, so let us know what scares you the most. Until we scream again.